And today we're going to be talking about orgasms and lack thereof when I lost my virginity.
It's Black Hoody, I'm back cooking these goodies. Look at these views from cooking these foods. Yeah, fuck with me.
Eat good, live well, stay true. What up, world? Coming at you with the ultimate roast beef sandwich today. I hope you guys really enjoyed that cooking segment. I gotta tell you, my first time doing this, I'm super jacked for it. It looks so good coming together, just everything. As I was cooking, I was like, this is gonna be such an orgasm in my mouth. And today we're gonna be talking about orgasms and lack thereof when I lost my virginity. Before we get into anything, I'm just going to get into a bite of these because I am so hyped. And then we're going to get into the story. And just for reference, guys, I have one toasted, really crusty, and one soft, just regular crusty roll. I'm going to start with the regular crusty roll. I think it's going to be the better one. You guys saw that goodness, the melted provolone, that roasted garlic, horseradish, black pepper, lemon, mayo. Oh, wait, that aioli, are you kidding me? I have not got deep enough in to know the truth yet, but when I get there, I will tell you. Okay. I'm thinking this next bite is going to give me everything I need to know. All the ingredients are going to be in this next bite. Let's get it. Oh my God, you guys. You don't even know how good that is. The beef, I like it cooked a little like more to the well done side, as you can see. It helps for that better tear. Look at this bun. Crusty, falling apart, French baguette. Got the provolone. Nice. Just a little saltiness, just a very chill amount of, like flavor on that cheese. The arugula hits it with that bright, like fragrance. You got the sweet caramelization from the mushrooms and onions, that earthiness. And then of course just the roasted garlic, creaminess of the mayo, that citrus, horseradish just punches you in the mouth. A little bit of black pepper. Guys, this is off the chain. And as you guys know, I always keep extra sauce on deck. And I'm gonna actually get a little scoop here with one of those garlic chunks. A little chunk of that garlic right in there. Let's go. Oh, almost rolled off. Oh my God. That garlic chunk just exploded in my mouth. Oh my God. These are phenomenal. You got to give them a try. All right, to the story that everybody's waiting for, because this is a story that across humans, everybody loves to hear about each other's first time. All right, let me preface this by saying, I was a late bloomer, but at the same time, I peaked in grade 8. A little bit complicated sounding, I know. So let me break it down for you. When I was in elementary school, coming up through all the grades, I was always like one of the more popular kids. What the fuck? I was, got my first kiss in like grade 2. There was this girl that lived beside my grandma. She used to like chase me down and like lock me down and kiss me and stuff. A couple coat room makeouts, some little innocent shit like that. As time goes on, I'm like killing it out at recess, getting better at sports and shit, and like, flirting with some girls. This girl writes me a note in grade 4 saying like, will you like date me or whatever? Like, will you want to go out with me? And with the note that says yes, no, maybe. I clicked that yes button and I was in like Flynn, you know what I mean? Like, so me and her were like on some grade 4, grade 5 shit, eating Oreos in the love seat at my mom's place, cookies and milk, a couple makeouts and shit. Progressing to some next stuff too a little bit. Grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, still killing it out in the PG and G8. PG meaning playground, G8 meaning grade 8, obviously. Little shred god, like good shape, soccer player. So I'm killing the game. In about grade 8, I pretty much was at the point of like, the next step for me was to probably lose my virginity. Like I was at that point. You know what I mean? I had achieved on the sexual scale pretty much everything, And that's a little wild in my opinion, because grade 8's really young. Going into high school, I'm like, this is going to be even better and more picking. Like, I got this. I got this. I'm going to run through here and just, next step, smash. And it's going to be a nice little 4-year career for me. Not the case. Universe had different plans. Universe was like, nah, bruh, you need to slow down. Actually, I'm going to turn your whole shit around. I'm going to make you fat, make your teeth all fucked up, even though they were crooked a little bit back in the day. But I don't know, once I got to high school, it was a whole nother level. But I make you all short and chubby. You're not going to grow. You're actually going to hit puberty. But for some reason, you're just going to go this way instead of this way. So I get to high school. I'm all ridiculous looking. For the next 4 years, bro, that shit was a desert for me. Lockdown, nothing. Like, well, I had like a couple little instances here and there, but they were like less than I was getting back in grade 6, grade 7, 8. Like, I was like, the fuck is this shit? So, high school sucked. In regards to that, so I get done high school. At this point, I'm 18 years old, figuring things out a little bit more. I've grown now and shit. Like, I'm not as ridiculous as I used to be. I lost a bit of weight and shit. Mostly all of my other friends have gotten laid at this point. Maybe with the exception of a few. So there's always that pressure. That pressure's always on. Like, oh, you gotta fuck. You gotta lose your virginity. You gotta smash. It's like what you have to do in high school. Otherwise, you're like doomed. So we were living in a time of I know it probably still happens today, but just for my generation, you guys will know back in like the MSN days, those like IRC chats and shit, when the internet was first kind of becoming a thing where you could talk to people from other schools and, you know, you connect on MSN and then you chat. So for a lot of my life, even through high school, I was one of these internet pimps. Maybe better referred to as a MSN fuckboy. But I was one of these dudes who definitely would chat with girls on it through MSN and shit. Through there, I had like quite a bit of game, it seemed like. And, you know, they'd check out your Facebook or you'd like, you know, send each other pictures or some shit. And build that weird internet chemistry. But the thing about internet chemistry is like, it's never really real. When you meet up in person, it's always different. Yo, Krusty the Clown, get out of here. So I had a bunch of times where like I had these different girls interested and they, you know, I probably could have locked in and such, but I was always that man who just like would always bitch out. They'd be like, yo, meet me here at the movies. And I would just be like, yeah. And then I would just never go through. Like I would just always bitch out because real talk, I was all nervous. So I get to the age where it's like, I think, yeah, I was like 19 and I'm like, holy fuck, like I need to get this shit handled because if I don't do this, yeah, then like what? I'm going to be 40-year-old virgin. And that was actually around the time where like 40-year-old virgin was out and I was like, I can't be Steve Carell. I cannot be this movie. Making egg salad can't be the highlight of my weekend in the future. So I had been internet romancing this one girl who like saw me out snowboarding and stuff one time or a few times and kind of knew me from around. And she was like a few years younger. I want to say like she was 17 or something like that. That's how it goes. 2 up, 2 down is usually the rule. But anyways, so I'm like internet wheeling her and this is going on for like a long time. This one's too crunchy. A little too crunchy. So her and I have been talking for a long time. At this point, I still used to rap and stuff. So I had songs recorded. So I'd like send her these tracks that were all soft boy. And she was like, oh, all smitten by like these tracks and shit. She's like, I just love your voice so much. And we have to meet up. Let's go snowboarding or whatever. And this girl's got a bit of a rep around town for being a bit of a floozy. And I was like, let's target that because I need to get this shit dealt with. And let's like make it a little easier on myself by going with a sure thing. So in my hometown, there's like actually a place that, because my city's built in such a way that's like there's like an upper and a lower part, and the high part there's like this like park where you can park and look out over the city, over the lake, and there's like this crazy shit in the background, mountains or whatever sort of thing, not quite but sort of. It's a pseudo mountain. It's called the Sleeping Giant. Google it. So anyways, it's the summertime and I'm like, this shit's gotta go down. I gotta get this shit executed on. I gotta get out of my teens a not virgin. So she wants to meet up at that park place where you can go look over the city and shit. Pretty late at night, like she like texts me. She's like, come meet me here. Now, I had been drinking some at my buddy's, and I was like, you know, had that little drinking courage. But this is back when I drove, and I know I told that story about drunk driving. This is back when I used to pull that shit. So I drove there, you know, tipsy, and we met up, and she had this big jacked up truck because I come from like a hick town, and she was just weirdly into that stuff. But she's small. Like this girl is like 5'2", like 100 pounds, like just racked up, stacked. Like she's not like a disgusting hick girl, really. But maybe, I don't know. Depends on your perspective. So I pull up. It's our first time meeting. We both get out. We're like chilling, talking. It's like a bit awkward. Like we both kind of, you're looking at each other like you both know that you don't look how you thought each other looked, kind of thing. But it wasn't in a bad way. It was just in like a I've never really seen you kind of way, other than pictures. So we just start like chatting and like laughing and whatever about like shit that we used to talk about and in our like MSN conversations and whatnot. We got in her vehicle, and then like within 10 minutes we're like fooling around. She's like on top of me on the seat, like making out and stuff, and like expose her things. You know, we're just doing some 14A shit kind of thing, you know? And at that moment, like just after she like got off of me for a sec, this like cop rolls in, boo, flashlights on the window. And like, so I'm out of my truck. Luckily, I'm in her passenger seat, and I'm, you know, because I'd been drinking a bit. And she's there, like, in her side, and the cop was on her side, and he's like, oh, it's just checking in. This kind of looks a little bit sketchy. Like, what's going on? We're like, oh, hey, sorry, we're just meeting up, just kind of like seeing each other or whatever. And he's like, oh, okay, no worries. Like, doesn't, like, because it didn't smell like weed or anything. There was nothing weird, really, other than the fact that we were hooking up. And he's like, okay, cool, yeah, just like have a good night. So at that point, this is when I used to have like the house to myself because my parents used to live out at the lake for the summer. So I was like, come back to my house. And, you know, pretty much she knew what that meant. So I get in my truck, she gets her truck. We like cruise down to my house, like 10-minute, 15-minute drive. And it's the summertime. It's like the middle of the summer. So it's like sweltering hot out and shit, very humid. And as like a kind of larger man or whatever, and like a guy who just sweats in general, I don't do well with hot, moist weather because I'm a hot, moist man. So, get to my place. In my house, it's like an old Victorian style home. There was like basement, main floor where the bedrooms were. Then there's like a thing called like the attic, but it was just there's 2 more bedrooms up there, and that's where I lived at, in this little hilarious attic-ish room. And it was like always just hot. We get up there, get her in there. We get down to like naked and stuff or whatever. Like we're rolling around, hooking up, but it's dark and whatever. A little lamp. Always a little lamp. A little lamp is nice. I don't like complete darkness. You gotta see what you're working with. So a little lamp shining down on me. And because I'm like really hot and like a little bit drunk and like super nervous or whatever, like we get into like regular mission position, and I start dishing, and then I was wishing that this was more efficient because this didn't happen very well. I was in and I was going, and like I just got like 2 in my head, and like I was like kind of like sweaty and shit, and I just was like super self-conscious, and I just like couldn't focus on the task at hand, so I like just limped out. And I just was like so like, oh sorry, like I don't know, whatever. Like she didn't know I was VN as well. Like she assumed that I was not a V because I've been spitting game on the internet or whatever, right? But I was a V and she didn't know I was a V, and like in my whole V mind, I was just like was not really V good at this thing. So deaded that. Like she like kind of stayed the night. I think she's like she had to work in the morning, so she dipped at like I don't know, like 7, but this was at like 3 or something or whatever, like at night. So she dips. The next day, like we go back to talking, and you can tell something's like a little different. It's a little off. Like it was very like I failed in a sense. And so we're still talking again, and then she's still down though. I think she was down for like a second chance. So the next day, I think it was, after that day, she came back through to my house, and I was like sober, and it was like middle of the day, sober, still fucking really hot out, lights completely on, and yeah, and then we hit it, and like it worked out from there. Like it was that time it worked fine. And surprisingly enough for me, like I didn't like immediately finish or anything like that. It was like pretty normal. It just kind of happened pretty normally, though it was like very amateur. Like it wasn't some wild like reverse cowgirl shit and like, you know what I mean, flip upside down and acrobatics like Cirque du Soleil or anything. But it was definitely like some pretty basic, like for X, I don't know, 10, 15 minute kind of thing, and then done. And then, you know, all is well. I get to go into my 20s. Not a virgin. Because, I don't know, let's be honest. Had that not happened, maybe it would never happen for me. I'm kidding. After that happened, like once I moved away to Toronto and shit, and like in my early 20s, I just kind of like, I got my shit figured out. I learned how to like be better with girls, and like it just got easier. Like I, instead of looking like a chubby like man boy, I just started to look like more of a semi chubby man. Like, so I got facial hair, and like I got a better jaw and stuff, and I just, my body like filled more to like how a normal person should look. Like I wasn't as dumpy, and you know what I mean. So finally grew, and I just, you know, I went out into the city and worked a lot of places, worked around a lot of females, and I don't know, I just got to be pretty decent with the shit. So, yeah, I made up for that shit. The lack of in high school in my, you know, early to mid 20s and whatnot. So all is well. There was a time when I was dry, but then I was very well satiated for some years. So let's just say that. Anyways, this guy was hurting like my teeth and shit because he was so crusty, pretty full to be honest. And yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Merch coming soon. Please stay tuned. I'm working diligently. There's just some little minor complications here and there, but it's gonna come, and we're gonna rep. You guys are gonna throw me pictures and shit. I'm gonna put you up on this if you want, or not, whatever. I don't know. If you want to send me some shit, rep some shit, do it. Anyways, till the next one. You guys know what it is. Eat good, live well, stay true.